Perché uno scafo in alluminio dovrebbe essere migliore di uno in vetroresina?
Why an aluminium hull should be better than a fiberglass one? Well, because at the same weight it is more robust, and in case something happens, it is also easier to repair. Not to mention that it is recyclable countless times. But those who own such a boat do not really care about this, because he is likely to own it for the rest of his life. Today, it is not I who has to convince you, rather it is this rib who has to convince me. This Highfield Sport 900. Today, I'm in Beograd, Croatia to test it. Let's get started. This is the Boat Show.
Highfield è un cantiere cinese con la sede a Wei.
Highfield is a Chinese shipyard based in Weihai, a seaside city in eastern China's Shandong province. Since its foundation in 2011, it has established itself in aluminium hull rib construction. In 12 years of operation, they deliver more than 54,000 ribs all around the world.
Grazie alla loro robustezza strutturale.
Thanks to their structural sturdiness and their seaworthy hull, they are often employed as commercial vessels in extreme environments, such as the Northern Seas, or as rescue or support vessels for oceanic sailings of the highest sporting standard, such as the Vendée Globe.
La loro forza sta nell'aver studiato imbarcazioni necessarie.
Their strength lies in having studied vessels needed for specific uses, many of them extreme. This has forced the creation of vessels with a truly high standard of quality. Just think that when I was studying for this test, preparing on the whole boat, I called the very product manager of Highfield, who said, "Bacci, sorry, we can get in touch in a moment. I'm in the middle of the Norwegian fields, and we're going to search for some killer whales. We are testing out one of our new inflatable boats."
Ebbene,
Well, the shipyard now wanted to take a step further, optimising for recreational use what has always been a solid, structurally unimpeachable rib made for real sailing.
a poppa un bracket.
At the stern, a massive bracket, structurally integral to the hull, supports the single or dual outboard engine, with two truncated planks concealing the telescopic ascent ladder.
Unica pecca è che in questa zona ci sono spigoli.
The only flaw is that there are very sharp edges in this area, but there are also large mangas that I would put anywhere on board, because you always have to know where to hold on.
Il pozzetto.
The cockpit comes with a removable picnic table.
La seduta poppiera fronte mare.
The forward-facing aft seat easily converts into a modest sun deck below, which is ample technical storage volume.
A completare l'area, una seduta.
Completing the area is an opposing counter seating area, comfortable for two people, that folds down to allow access to the wet bar cabinet.
E qui c'è anche il frigo.
And here, there is also the fridge.
Lo stesso modulo
The same module accommodates the pilot seat, developed with two very restrained single seats. Underneath are two very large storage lockers. Then again, watertight side USB sockets and the central support point of the carbon fibre superstructure.
Questo, come del resto.
This, like the rest of the hull, is welded aluminium and then later powder coated.
Il cassero è
The formwork is central with the wheelhouse off-centre on the left. By opening the hatch and its seat forward, there is access to the volume that can also be used as a dressing room or toilet.
La prua è stata adibita completamente a max.
The bow has been used completely as a maxi sun deck. A large locker is concealed under part of the cushioning. On the extreme bow, a compartment for inspection of the anchor drop.
Questo non l'ho mai visto da nessun'altra parte.
This I've never seen anywhere else. Fueling is done here in the bow, and the vent is in a holding tank for the overflow.
Insomma, con tutte queste finiture, il grande sunbed.
In short, with all these finishes, the large sunbed and the cushions researched in the stitching, they really did a great job. This rib can officially be considered a cruising rib.
Ma ci sono ancora alcuni dettagli che.
But there are still some details that betray the commercial origin of this craft. Walking barefoot here is a risk of injury.
Abbiamo detto che è un
Did we say it is a rib that can sail? Well, let's try it out.
L'unico problema è che oggi la
The only problem is that Croatia is giving us a marvellous day today. There isn't a wave to pay for it in gold, but I'm sure we're having fun anyway. Let's put it to the test for what we can do. We're going to the plane limit.
L'ho portato.
I've got it up to 10 knots, but I'm going to reduce a little bit now, 9.5 knots. And I feel like the wake is just coming off.
Il consumo in questa
Consumption at this gate is 0.7 nautical miles per litre. I will move to 15 knots and show you something. Behind, from bracket, there is a little bit of crest, but I'm sure then, by changing the trim, we will be able to set it in the best way. 2,700 RPM, 15 knots, and with 1 litre we do half a mile.
Ok, guarda.
Look at the rib from the side and from a distance. See how the incidence of the hull is on the water.
La postazione di pilotaggio, cioè dove mi trovo io adesso, è
The pilot station, that is where I am now, is a little bit bowed on the longitudinal axis of the whole keel. This gives me a sense that there is no lift in this sailing range, which we know is one of the most critical for all hulls.
Questa è un'ottima partenza e in più
This is a very good start. Plus, looking at the waves, you can see that the mass displaced is not so much. It is clean, clear wave, because the hull is gliding on the water in the best possible way.
do ancora un po' di gas, la porto
I give it some more gas, bringing it up to what might be a good cruising speed, 29 knots, 4,150 RPM, and consumption remains stable. For a litre consumed, we can sail half a mile.
Non so quanti di voi hanno avuto la possibilità di navigare su barche foilanti. Ma
I don't know how many of you had the opportunity to sail foil boats, but my perception right now, without even touching the trim, is that of floating on the water, almost flying. The little ripples that I see in front of the bow when they pass under the keel don't give me any kind of turbulence.
Ok, proviamola in virata.
Okay, let's try it in a veer. I start a very wide left turn.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia, I really feel like I'm flying. I feel like I'm on an airplane.
Che sensazione.
What an amazing feeling.
Ok. Sì, ma questo ragazzi non è
This is not navigating, this is not sailing. This is dancing on the sea.
Papparapappa, pappa, pappa, attaratata, la la la. Questa è una navigazione di classe. La carena è una carena.
This is classy sailing. The hull is very deep, which is needed to deal with the roughest seas. Just think that the dihedral angle at the stern is 26 degrees.
Questo naturalmente non permetterà all'Highfield Sport.
This will not allow Highfield Sport 900 to reach extreme top speeds, but rather to conduct precise navigation and perfect manoeuvres. Let's try it in a tight turn. The centre is nice and sporty. I trust the hull. I start to tighten and give gas.
Naturalmente.
Of course, the trim is still all down to get maximum traction on the propeller.
Stringo.
I tighten the turn, and look how wonderful it is.
Per un gioco di forze.
Due to a play of forces between the propulsion and the hull, the boat bends so much, but this is where the tubulars come in and give the whole tender a lift so it doesn't bend too much.
Stare qui è una sensazione pazzesca.
Being here is a crazy feeling. You can feel all the forces in play, and the rib has a very precise course.
Guardate un po', non devo fare niente.
Check it out. I don't have to do anything. We keep going back on our wake. It's perfect.
Anche
Even though I give a lot of gas.
adesso però è arrivato il momento che più preferisco perché Highfield.
Now, however, has come my most favourite moment because Highfield claims that the new Highfield 900 Sport can reach, with this motorisation, namely a 350 horsepower V8, a top speed of 48 knots. I, as always, have two goals, the first to reach them, the second to top them. I begin to optimise incidence with trim by raising the hull out of the water
5.000.
5,900 RPM, 42 knots. Consumption?
Beh, in questa andatura facciamo...
At this gauge, we get 0.3 litres per mile. I raise the engine even higher, 6,100 RPM, and boy, we have already touched 45 knots. But I can do more, much more.
Molto di più, perché arrivando a 6.000...
Coming up to 6,250 RPM, practically with the propeller out of the water. Ladies and gentlemen, I managed to reach 45.7 knots. Mamma mia, how wonderful to sail like that. What a wonder.
Che meraviglia! Insomma, quando si parte dalla base di
In short, when you start from the base of a professional craft, you can enjoy all the pros of such a project, a solid boat made to sail and to cope with all kinds of weather conditions. Then, when the deck is optimised so that it can also be enjoyed in a relaxed recreational situation, I get to thinking, what could be better than a combination like this?